Greetings YouTube. Today we are looking at another G.I. Joe custom showcase, and this time we're going to be concentrating on the vehicles, of which there is really only one, and that most people don't have because the Baroness was hard to get, and this Cobra coil is the only vehicle that we have gotten from Hasbro for G.I. Joe Classified. G.I. Joe was known for having a plethora of vehicles. Some of them really cool. And we haven't got any yet, except for this motorcycle. I would say that we're probably going to get more, but I don't know. It's another step up because you're going from 1/18 scale to 1/12 scale, and that means the vehicles need to be a lot bigger. So that means more cost. So that means more cost for Hasbro and more cost for us. So, hard to say. So today I'm going to talk about how you can get your Joes and your Cobra operatives in some vehicles for relatively cheap. All right, let's take a look at it. Okay, so for the purposes of today's video, I am going to show you guys some of the custom vehicles that I have put together and or modified so that they can fit 6-inch G.I. Joe classified scale figures. Not all of them work for every single figure, especially if you start going past the smaller guys and you get to the bigger guys. That's why we have these three gentlemen here to demonstrate our regular size body, our medium size body, and then our bigger body. Obviously, if you have a female like Scarlet or Baroness, if the smaller size guy can fit in a vehicle, then definitely, your females can fit in it. So we'll take a look at those right now. Let's start with a very easy one. So this is another motorcycle. This is from a Batman Justice League playset kind of 2-pack. It had a Batman figure in it, and the Batman figure was terrible, but this motorcycle was pretty good. It doesn't look like a realistic motorcycle. It's definitely a toy, but a good customizer that has a pretty decent eye for paint could make this into something different. Is it completely military looking? Not necessarily, but it's definitely tactical looking. This isn't something that you're going to be riding around on your way to Dairy Queen. So this is a nice vehicle, and it's a good size. It fits any of the Joes. You can put a smaller person on here, or you can put the bigger guys on here, and they will fit for the most part, and their hands can fit around the handlebars. You can pick this thing up on eBay or Amazon or something like that for relatively cheap. It is a discontinued item. Once these are gone, they're probably going to be gone, but you can still pick this one up. So this one's the first one. Very easy. All right, so next we are going to take a look at the 1/18 scale vehicles that you can customize into something that a classified figure can fit into. The way these are built, oftentimes they have basically a hollow inside, so it makes it a lot easier to customize or to retrofit or change to fit a bigger figure. These vehicles came with the Sentinel line, which is like a knockoff G.I. Joe line that Toys R Us used to carry, I believe. And they had a whole bunch of vehicles for these guys because they were trying to knock off G.I. Joe. So the beauty of this particular assault Jeep is that you open this guy up in the front here. Basically, the entire inside is hollow. There's a ton of space in there. So if you have the capability or the skills to create like a custom seat or something, you could definitely get a guy to sit in there. Like if you maybe got rid of this molded in seat, you could make a seat. Maybe it would have to be kind of a recliner, but you could get a guy to fit in there and sit and be relatively, comfortable. because there's a lot of space in here. So you'd have to do some work, and he kind of fits without any customization, but yes, you would need to do a little bit. Now what I've done is that instead of doing all that work, because G.I. Joe vehicles were always pretty much ridiculous as far as how they were driven or what the guys did to get in the vehicle. So you can take a guy and you can just lay him down in here. And he fits just fine. And I can close that up, and that guy's in the vehicle. He's driving. He's just laying down as he's driving. You may say, oh, that's ridiculous. What vehicle does that? The Havoc does. So it's no more ridiculous than sitting at the top of a tank with nothing in front of you, shooting off guns, and you're going into the middle of a war zone. As far as the back goes, so this back part has a seat, which is, you know, very nicely laid in. It even has armor pieces up here at the top so that if you were sitting up here, you wouldn't be a sitting duck. So it worked out nice for the 1/18 guys, but your figures, your G.I. Joe figures, are not going to fit in that small seat. So what I did is I removed the seat part, and I basically just drilled and dremeled and got rid of this whole part to open up what was basically a tube, empty tube, and that's how this thing swivels. So let me show you what I did with my other one. And it's not all the way done yet. This is definitely a WIP, or a work in progress. So this other one that I have, I began the process of emptying that out. I cut that seat out, shaved off some of the tube, and what I want to try to do is connect some type of seat here so that the guys can sit in. Even your big guys can actually pull this off if you can get the right setup going. And you can have a guy who's manning this cannon, but he doesn't have to sit in that tiny seat. And his legs will fit in the tube. And now he's manning the cannon. So here you have, move Destro out of the way here. And here you got a good, you know, setup here. You have a assault jeep or assault vehicle. You got a guy manning the guns and the launchers and the cannons, and you can have a guy inside of there, and there you go. You got yourself a two-man vehicle. I just have to find a way so that he's not just, you know, floating on air. I have to attach some type of seat here. I may have to contact one of these casters or customizers like Iron Ken and see if he can't hook me up with one of those casted seats that he does. All right, let's take a look at the radio controlled items that you can use. All right, so here we have a, and this is a radio controlled Jeep. This is, and I'll put the name of it up here because I cannot remember exactly what it's called, but this is something that was available through the Polaris lines. It's a radio controlled Jeep. It is said to be like 1/12 or 1/10 scale, but it's not really that. You're gonna have to do a lot of modification if you want to use this. It's really nice looking, and it has everything that you would want in some type of military, you know, Jeep vehicle. The problem is that the seats are molded in the back, and then there's like a, you know, molded in floor. There's no room for the guy's legs to go down, so you got to make that room. So I had to drill out a lot of material to get people to fit in here, and honestly it was kind of a lot of work, and I would rather not do that much work. Now this thing was about $25 or $35, so it wasn't that much money, but the fact that I had to do that much work just to get a guy to fit in here, and this is one of those vehicles where Duke is about the biggest guy you're going to fit in here. Beachhead will fit in here, a Cobra Trooper would fit in here, your females will definitely fit, but after that, it's a struggle. And I didn't even mess with the back. Like, I'm not drilling out all of that stuff. Like, I'll probably put something over the back to make it like a storage area, because it just wasn't worth it to me. So this one is nice. It looks nice. A lot of people have shown pictures of this on Instagram, but they've put in a ton of work to get guys to fit in here. And you know, I'm okay with putting in a little bit of work. I'm okay with putting in a lot of work, but I put in quite a bit of work with this thing, and it still needs more. That's probably a little too much for my taste. But I do like how it looks. I like the style of the Jeep. And as far as this turret goes, this did not come with this. This is a gun that was part of one of those Sentinel vehicles. I think it came on their attack boat. The beauty of it is that it had a little peg that will stick into this netting part. So now it rotates and turns and stays in place, and someone can stand back here and man this turret, which is nice. So you can put, you know, one of your guys that has no chance of fitting in the seats, he can at least be back here and man the turret. So that's a plus. No, that looks good. All right, let's take a look at something else. All right, here is another radio-controlled Jeep, like Polaris type vehicle. This one is a little bit bigger, and as you can see, it fits a regular-sized guy much better. Like, he looks like he's not cramped. There's room for his feet to be on the floor. He looks comfortable. This one is a much better fit. Didn't have to do, I'm trying to think, did I have to do anything to this one? No, I didn't have to do anything to this one to get people to fit in it. This is more my style. I don't want to have to completely, you know, alter my vehicles for people to fit in them. Now, what I will say though is that there's an issue on the driver's side because the steering wheel is so low that there's barely any clearance for people's legs. If you had a female figure like Scarlet or Baroness, she could probably fit her legs under there. But other than that, you're going to struggle to get somebody's legs under that steering wheel. So you can remove the steering wheel. That wouldn't be that big of a deal. You could cut it off and then put it higher. And that's probably what I'll do, because I don't want to have to mess around with the seats or the floor or anything like that. So this one's nice. It's already a two-seater, so you don't have to worry about the back seat. And then what you can do, because you want this to be some type of military tactical vehicle, you can find some type of gun and you can attach it to it, either with some glue or some drill holes or whatever you want to do. I'm envisioning this as some type of Cobra vehicle. Since it's already black, I'll probably just spray paint it all the way black, slap a Cobra sign on it, and call it a day. All right, let's look at a couple more. Okay, so the ideal option for your G.I. Joe Classified or any 6-inch action figure, if you're trying to add to their vehicles or give them vehicles, is vehicles for other 6-inch lines. Even if it's one of the kind of kiddish toy basic lines, if they're making vehicles for 6 foot tall or 6-inch tall figures, then there's a good chance that the G.I. Joe Classifieds will fit in them. For instance, here we have the Justice League Dawn of Justice, I believe it is, or maybe this is the regular Justice League movie. This is the Batmobile. So this thing came in a similar color to this. It wasn't this color, but it was more of a grayish, but it wasn't as dark. So I spray painted it black, and well, you've seen a lot of people do this before, probably if you watch these kind of videos, and people have done this for their Batman figure. But I was thinking, you know what? This would be a very nice looking alternative, weird Mars Industries type vehicle that perhaps our guy Destro would drive. Like, I could definitely see him showing up to Cobra Temple to do business with Cobra Commander in one of these. And he just rolls up, you know, looking like the G he is, and jumps out of this bad boy. So this one was an easy custom. Spray painted black, get Cobra sticker, slap it on at a certain place just so that it's easily visible. I'm probably going to paint some black over the sticker part just so that it doesn't look so much like a sticker. But this is perfect for Destro. I can definitely see him rolling into battle in this, or just driving it around because that's what he does, because he's Destro. All right, so I got one more I want to show you, and then I get you up out of here. All right, so I had to back up the camera a little bit because this is a big vehicle, and this is from the Sentinel 1, toy line for the 1/18 scale figures, and it's still big. So this is a hovercraft, and one of my favorite vehicles in G.I. Joe was the Killer Whale. I'll put a picture of it right here. So the Killer Whale was one of my favorite ones. Like, I loved Cutter, I loved the Killer Whale, and I would get all excited when the Joes were in the Killer Whale and they were doing missions and stuff. So this is very similar to the Killer Whale. This actually, and this is what you can do when it's 1/18 scale. So this little ramp opened up, and actually this small tank would fit in the hovercraft. So you could be like deploying armor to a battlefield, and you roll up or you float up in your, hover tank or your hovercraft. This comes down and you release a small tank to do battle. That was cool. That's awesome. Like that's a playset that gives somebody hours and hours of fun. So because of that, this particular vehicle has a lot of empty space. So I was thinking that I could, add some seats into this thing, maybe a console or two, but then they would just be like out in the open doing their thing. So I'm gonna try to find a way to close this off, maybe make like some type of enclosure so that it more accurately resembles the Killer Whale and looks a little bit more practical. But I mean, this thing is well detailed. Got the stairs here where you enter the craft. These gun turrets move. The guns are on a swivel. You can put 1/18 guys inside of there. You got your searchlight here. And then this was the other kicker. So these turbines, or these, engines, actually work. They spin, they make sound, they light up. Tell me that's not awesome. So, yeah, definitely got to use this bad boy. I'm going to find a way to make this work. All right, so that's all I got for you today. As fun as it was to look at these vehicles, I still got a lot of work to do, honestly. I've started the customizing of some of them, but I still need to, do the finishing touches, and I got to find a way to make this hovercraft work. This has to happen. What I got coming up next for you is a custom figure showcase of G.I. Joe Classified, and boy, I got some doozies. Like, I'm not even the type to brag, but when you see the customs that I either made or acquired, I believe you're gonna be like, whoa, I didn't know that was possible with what's available, I think. So hopefully you enjoy it. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.